Well, good day everybody. This video is for everybody out there that doesn't actually own an EV yet, is EV curious, is thinking about buying an EV shortly, and has always asked this question. Now, when you're parked at DC fast charge like this, I get asked this question a lot. I don't mind answering it because I like educating people about EVs. But this video is for people that are always asking the question, how long does it take to charge an EV? Unlike the DC fast charge I just showed you, most of your charging will be done here at home. So far, data suggests about over 90% of EV owners charge at home in their own garage. So let's have a look at what we actually need to charge when you're at home. Here I have a standard 10 amp outlet, and over this side I have a dedicated wall charger. Now when you buy your EV, you probably won't get a dedicated wall charger. Some cars might give you one of those, but you don't need it. What you'll get with the car looks something like this. Now this is the Tesla, what they call a mobile charger, or granny cable as it's commonly referred to. This one has a 10 amp plug on the end of it. There is an option for a 15 amp plug, but most likely if you don't have a Tesla, you'll get something that looks like this. It's a J7072. This is what we charge our iMeter with, and on this plug here we have a 15 amp plug. So based on data from the ABS, Australian Bureau of Statistics, the average Australian drives approximately 30 kilometres per day, on average. Okay, some people drive more, some people drive less. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this Tesla here for a drive for exactly 31 kilometres, and we'll come back and we'll plug it in our 10 amp power outlet right here, and we'll see just exactly how long it takes to charge. So here we are, about to go for a drive. I've reset the trip meter. Got a distance here of about 0 kilometres, duration 0, obviously watt hours per kilometre. And the battery is set to 70%. So with that, we'll go do a drive of about 30 kilometres, 31 kilometres, and it's going to be 100% motorway as well, so it's going to use more energy than you would if you're commuting in regular Sydney traffic. So when you get back, we'll figure out exactly how long it takes to charge on a 10 amp power point. Remember, I'm not going to use the dedicated wall charger, which is up to 25 amps. I'm going to use the 10 amp power point on the wall back there, using the mobile charger you get with the car. We're going to see exactly how long it takes to recharge the amount used for the day on average. And from there we can figure out exactly how much it's going to cost as well, because depending on the kilowatt hours it needs to recharge that amount, you can figure out based on your electricity rate how much it's going to cost you for the day. So here we are, back home after our trip. Let's have a look at the data so far. Trip duration since last charge, 32 kilometres, so pretty much just on the Australian average. We used just 5 kilowatt hours of energy at an average usage of 152 watt hours per kilometre. 152 watt hours per kilometre is 15.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres, so you can use that to figure out your average cost. Remember, we just did this all on motorways. So in sitting in traffic, you get more efficiency, believe it or not, because you stop starting, you're not fighting aerodynamic drag, you're not delivering as much energy to the motors to keep up with traffic, and there's and you're regenning a lot when you stop. So this trip we didn't do much regenning because no traffic. So now we know that, let's plug it into our 240 volt 10 amp power supply and see how long it takes us to recharge. Remember, to figure out how long it's going to take to charge, 240 volts by 10 amps is 2.4 kilowatts. So 2.4 kilowatts to get 5 kilowatt hours of energy in the car, it should take around about 2 hours. So that is the answer to the question, how long does it take to charge an EV? In this case, the Australian average, at home, on a 10 amp power supply, approximately 2 hours. That's it. Now, you can charge up obviously as soon as you get home, like we do when we've got plenty of sunlight and solar in the afternoon. That's why I want daylight savings to be permanent, so we get more solar in the afternoon to charge the car when you get home from work. Or you can set a schedule to charge a car at off-peak rate. So 5 kilowatt hours at your off-peak rate of electricity, whatever that may be, you can figure out your daily cost. So let's plug it in and see what happens. So here we go, we're going to grab our granny charger, as they call them, with our 10 amp plug, and let's plug it in. Obviously you plug it this end into the wall, that's where the plug is. So we'll plug it into here. There we go, 10 amp socket. This other end here is your type 2 AC plug, and we plug that into here. Now essentially that's as long as it takes to charge your car, because by the time you plug it in, you go inside, you do other things. You have dinner, you have spend time with family and friends, you watch YouTube videos, you play computer games, you do whatever you have to do. So that's how long it takes. But let's see what the car tells us. Okay, we set to a charge rate of 8 amps. Now remember, a 10 amp power point will only charge at 8 amps, a 15 amp power point will only charge at about 12. That's the maximum current draw. So based on the 8 amps from our 10 amp power point to recharge 5 kilowatts is going to take us 3 hours. So there you go. So we're going to add 5 kilowatts of energy into the car. If you're paying 5 cents a kilowatt hour or 10 cents a kilowatt hour, it's going to cost you 50 cents for a day. Total time to charge the car back up to the 70% limit, just over 3 hours. So now I've answered that question. How long does it take to charge an EV? As I say to people that ask me this question at charger sites, is it depends, and it depends on your average daily use. Because remember, you charge every night when you get home, like when you plug in your phone, you plug in your watch, all that sort of stuff. It becomes a very quick and easy habit to fall into. You just come home, you plug it in, and you walk inside, and you're done. 3 hours later, your car's charged, you're good to go. So now let's get to the DC fast charger we saw earlier. Now, a majority of the time, people are going to charge at home just like this. The DC fast chargers are used for road trips. Okay, so now let's plan a trip using these DC fast chargers. I'm going to plan a trip to my usual destination, a place called Hat Head on New South Wales mid-north coast, 470 kilometres from our location right here in this garage. So let's see what a better route planner has to say about how long it's going to take you to charge to get there. Leaving Penrith, it's going to take us about 2 hours, 50 minutes to get to Heather Brae Supercharger, where we'll recharge from 35% to 83%, onto Hat Head, arriving with 10% stated charge. So it's going to take us one charge and 23 minutes. So for a trip of nearly 500 kilometres, we've only got to stop and charge for 20 minutes. That's plenty of time to go to the toilet, order some food from snacks where the chargers are, eat them and get back on the road again. As they say, stop, revive, survive. 20-minute break after 5 hours is highly recommended, and you'll arriving a lot more refreshed and obviously a lot safer. Now, one thing did you notice there? Arriving with 10% stated charge. Now here's the thing, a lot of people sort of take a bit to get used to, is that when you arrive at your destination, unlike a petrol car, if you got there with a petrol car with 10% fuel, you're gonna have to go find petrol again for the next day's driving. But when you're there, you can plug in and charge from a power point at your destination. And like if you're like me and you book destinations like this, you search for destinations that have EV charging. So when you get there, you can charge overnight. So when you wake up in the morning, your car might only get to say 60 or 70%, again by morning, because a slow charge maybe. But again, as you just saw, I can drive for another almost 500 kilometers again with just another 20-minute stop. That's the sort of mindset change you need when you're thinking about buying an EV or how you'd use an EV in your daily usage. Remember, your destinations become your petrol stations. You don't have to go somewhere specifically to refuel. And as we've just seen, we can easily recharge from a 10-hour power point. You don't need a dedicated wall charger like I've got there. The reason I have that wall charger is because it came with the car when you bought it. You can buy a dedicated wall charger if you want to. The only advantage is they really increase the speed of your charging. As we saw with the wall charger over there, it's charging at 8 amps. Whereas the dedicated wall charger over there will charge at 25 amps. So obviously it just shortens the time, that's all. But overnight, you don't need it. What comes with the car, such as we've just seen, will easily handle the Australian average daily drive of 30 to say 50 kilometers an hour overnight very easily without needing any upgrades to your power supply at your home or your garage or wherever you're going to charge your car. So that's it. A definitive answer to how long does it take to charge an EV. And hopefully this dispels a lot of myths around EV charging, because yes, there is a ton of misinformation out there, because a lot of people don't want you buying EVs and they want you to keep you buying petrol. But remember, if you have an EV, you can charge overnight, slowly, while you're sleeping, having dinner, spending time with family or friends or whatever you want to do when you're at home. And when you travel with an EV, your destination is also your fueling destination. You don't have to go somewhere to refuel. You can arrive with almost an empty tank, charge overnight, ready for the trip home or ready to continue on journey the next day. In summary, at home, for the average daily use case in Australia, based on ABS data, it's going to take you approximately 3 hours. That's it. For a 500 kilometre road trip, essentially 475 k's an hour in this example, it's going to take you approximately 20 minutes per 500 kilometres on a road trip. So, thank you for watching. I hope, as I said, I hope this helps a lot in your decision to buy an EV, or if you're seriously considering to buy an EV. This clears a lot of things up and dispels a lot of myths, and take care of yourselves. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope this video helps. Happy EV driving in the future. Thank you.